YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Jonathan. We are back with another video. So this video is going to be about frequency over force. So the reason I say that is because, hold up, I had to check my mic, my bad. But the reason I say that is because in order for you to effortlessly move throughout life and to have the least resistance possible and you to guide your life in the right direction to where you know you want it to go, you have to align yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually. Now, on this channel, I know I be talking about that shit all the time. Like, I probably sound like a broken record, but it's a reason for that, bro. Like, you really have to enter over and understand that your frequency matters the most. Your frequency is the determining factor on what you see on a daily basis. The life construct, the life structure that you're currently experiencing is all due to your internal frequency, right? So the reason that you are experiencing a certain degree of a situation is because your frequency is only tuned to be aware of that situation or be aware of that perspective of that situation, right? So let's say, for example, I wanted to like go start a business, or I wanted to go start a social media page, or I wanted to get like better grades in school or whatever, right? But my current reality is not reflective of my desired results, right? So you have to understand that in totality, there is something that you are doing that is not in alignment with the identity that has that particular thing that you're wishing to experience, right? And it has to be something on this totem pole, which is your mind, body, and or your spirit, nigga. A lot of times, like, we've been grown up to tie like our actions to have a reactionary result, right? And that's really false. It's supposed to go on the totem pole. It's supposed to go your spirit, your mind, and your body, right? Your spirit is where you get these intuitive guides. It's where you get these downloads. You get the contrast of what you actually truly want to experience in your life, right? Then your mind creates the scenarios. Your mind creates the imaginations and the emotions. And your body feels those emotions and carries out the actions, right? And once those are aligned, you're in a flow state, bro. This is why it's so important that you get into a state of creative flow when you're trying to like increase any area of your life, bro. Really understand that shit. And honestly, when you get off this video, bro, research flow state, research the brain waves that are induced during flow state. Research how to get into a flow state. You may have a different flow state time from somebody else, bro. Like, you may only get into a flow state between like 12 a.m. and 3 a.m., bro. Or this other nigga may get into a flow state at 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. It's different for everybody. Everybody's circumstances is different. So also, this is why you should like be careful on who you take information from, because somebody can be leading you down the wrong path. Trust but verify, my nigga. So really understand that shit. But do some research on flow states, because flow states is very important. That is where you're going to be directly connected with the divine. And the divine is going to give you downloads. God is going to give you downloads on how to materialize his plan and your desires. That nigga is going to tell you how to do that shit. The universe is going to tell you how to do that shit, right? Because in your mind, I'm saying this, but you're thinking you're like separated from this nigga, or you're separated from the universe. Bro, you and the universe, you and God are one, my nigga. You're one. Your brain, your spirit is directly tied to the cosmos, my nigga. You have access to literally all infinite possibilities. So whenever you get into a flow state, that's really you just tapping in to your inner divine being and you expressing that shit without interruption. That's really what a flow state is. So really understand that, bro. Now, the reason I even brought up a flow state is because once you have these three items in line, your mind, body, and spirit, that is when you will enter a flow state. Now, how do you enter this flow state, you may ask, right? And I'm doing this shit, no script. I be making these videos with no script, bro. Right? I do this shit one take, no scripts, just straight noggin. Pause. That sounded gay. But just straight off rip. Off my top, bro. Pause. But yeah, nigga. So how you get into a flow state? You need to cut off all distractions. You need to cut off everything, all vices, all bad habits, so you can align yourself with the desired reality that you want to acquire, right? And you also have to internalize the belief that one, you do not have limiting beliefs, and two, that anything that you are giving power to, like in terms of like a bad habit or something that you don't wish to experience, is only going to be your limitation, right? Now, for example, like let's say I wake up in the morning and I say to myself, well, I can't work unless I have a cup of coffee, right? Or I can't work unless I do this certain thing. You are the only determining factor in your reality, my nigga. If you say you have limiting beliefs, it's going to be an ever perpetual cycle of you experiencing and finding new limiting beliefs, right? If you say you need this cup of coffee to get into this certain mode, that's going to be the truth, my nigga. Anything you say is going to be the truth. So you really need to understand and figure out, what are your core beliefs? What are the constant thoughts that you think on a daily basis? Because those most prevalent thoughts are going to be manifested in your reality, and you're going to experience that shit. So back to how do you get into a flow state? Removing bad habits, bad vices, or all vices are bad, but vices, all that shit, because it's stripping you, it's taking you out of alignment with your true identity, right? Now you may like try to convince yourself that your new identity would consciously be putting themselves at a disadvantage to not be able to reach a flow state, right? So it can be like, well, my new identity eats this certain food, so I should eat this certain food right now, right? Or my new identity does this certain drug, so I should do this drug now. Now, I'm not going to be the one to tell you that you're right or wrong. That is up to you to make that decision. But from experience, I'm going to tell you, my nigga, if something is consciously holding you back, and you internally know that if you stop this thing, you're going to be way more productive, that is your cue. That is your intuitive guide to completely stop that shit and strip it away, right? The universe works on a exchange basis, right? It's give and take. So if you don't give the universe, or if you don't take something away from yourself so you can rise above your lower version of yourself, the universe will never do the same for you, right? If you don't sacrifice something, if you don't sacrifice yourself, the universe won't sacrifice itself. It won't move places for you to receive something. It just won't do that, bro. No matter how you try to cheat the code of the motherfucking matrix, that shit will never happen, my nigga. Really understand that. Really understand that, bro. So you have to sacrifice something. There is a reason literally all ancient civilizations had some form of sacrifice in their religious texts, because they understood that you cannot take without giving. If you watch Full Metal Alchemist, you seen them niggas was fucking around. They was immature. They really didn't know what the fuck they was doing. Nigga, bro lost his body and they mom. And the whole show, they was trying to get their mama back in this nigga's body, because they didn't understand the true principles of energetic alchemy. And that's one of the main principles of alchemy, my nigga. Transformation, trying to transmute energy. You have to give something before you take, right? So really understand that shit and research the laws of the universe too. Shout out X, my nigga. So when your internal frequency is aligned with your desired reality, you don't have to force shit, right? Now, I'm not saying you don't have to force anything in terms of like you don't have to put in physical effort. Physical effort is a part of the equation, my nigga. Really understand that. So you can't be lazy in this process. But if your identity is aligned with the desired reality, you're going to do the physical actions by default, right? And it won't even really truly feel like work. It just feels like you're expressing your true identity, my nigga. And when you subconsciously understand that shit, it'll make sense to you. And everything will just start to fall in place, right? You don't have to force anything. Your frequency is going to bring things into your perception in which you are a match to, right? So this is why, like, when people pay for mentorships, when people pay thousands of dollars for mentorships, they're reinforcing the self-concept, their subconscious self-concept of themselves, right? And also downloading this other person's frequency because they bought the course, right? Now, it's not even really so much the information inside the course, but it's the subconscious reinforcement of that value exchange, right? So you have to change your perspective on what the fuck is truly going on, my nigga. What you see is happening right now is just an illusion. This video, me talking to you right now, is just an illusion. What's truly going on is you're interpreting frequencies through this microphone, and it's getting downloaded into your brain, right? As information. And whatever I'm speaking right now, whatever I'm like saying right now, it's only certain phrases and certain words that's going to click to you because I'm speaking a certain frequency to you that you're only able to understand, right? Somebody may get something totally different from this video than you may get from it. Or you may watch this video like a year later and get something totally different than when you first watched the video. Why? Because your frequency is different, my nigga. Your frequency is tuned to a completely different frequency, and you're only able to interpret a frequency that you're matched to. So really understand that shit, gang. Like when you go to the store and go buy like a designer clothing item, you're not buying that clothing item to like physically be seen with it. You're buying it to reinforce your self-concept of being an abundant person. Really understand that, bro. And once you understand that, you take that perspective into other areas of your life, you'll start to become way more aware of what the fuck you actually do. And you become way more aware of what part of yourself are you consciously reinforcing? Like what kind of content do you consume on a daily basis? Because the type of content that you consume, the type of music that you consume on a daily basis is an indicator as to what your current frequency is. So really understand that, bro. Really understand this video. So with all that being said, bro, I hope y'all fuck with the video. If you did, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna see you on the next one.